Has you ever been there? You've put in all the work, you've networked, you've had a fantastic conversation on LinkedIn, maybe spent 20 minutes with a prospect at a trade show.
You feel great about it. The connection is real.
Exactly. And then you follow up with a link to your business, and it's satirical. It's just the generic one-size-fits-all homepage.
It's a total disconnect. It's the digital equivalent of forgetting everything you just talked about. All that great rapport just evaporates.
It's a huge friction point. You've built this high-touch human connection, but the moment you go digital, the system treats them like a total stranger.
You know their needs, their company, their role, but the technology defaults to anonymity. It's just not efficient.
That gulf, that space between the human relationship and the generic digital delivery is exactly where a new framework is positioning itself as a real game changer.
Right.
Today, we're doing a deep dive into something pretty revolutionary in the programmatic web. We're talking about a patent-pending framework called pslzme.
And just so everyone is clear on the pronunciation, we'll be saying that as personalize me.
Yes, personalize me. And our sources are heralding this as a unique global development, which is a pretty bold claim.
It is, but they make a compelling case. Personalize me seems to solve one of the web's biggest paradoxes. How do you get world-class, deep personalization for users who are not registered customers?
So people you haven't tracked, who haven't logged in, who haven't accepted cookies.
Exactly. And how do you do all of that while maintaining the absolute highest standards for data security? That's the core breakthrough.
Okay, let's unpack that, because that completely flips the script on how data is usually handled online. Before we get into the nuts and bolts, what do we mean by the programmatic web?
We're talking about automated, data-driven content. Personalized ads, dynamic web pages. The goal is always relevance.
But the method usually involves tracking or storing user data on a server somewhere.
Precisely. This framework changes that method fundamentally. It lets you know the visitor on their very first click, legally and safely, without any of that invasive tracking. The power moves from the server into the link itself.
Which brings us to our first section, the revolution of the personalized link.
Yeah.
So I'm sending a prospect a link. How is this different from, just adding their name to the URL?
It is so much more sophisticated. Instead of that generic link, the target gets a unique, personalized URL. It might look like www.musterman-gmbh.dfauschmidt or
a short link.
Or a short link. The framework has a generator that creates these secure, non-traceable links like https://www.pslz.me/imivn. The difference is immediate. It's psychological. The visitor instantly feels seen.
And the tangible benefits follow right after that feeling. So you click that link, and instead of a generic header, you see, "Welcome, Froschmidt."
Right, and the page content itself immediately changes. It might show content specifically for a purchasing manager, an Einkaufsleiterin, instead of the general corporate homepage.
So that has a real impact on numbers, right?
Yeah, a huge impact. Our research shows a generic visitor might have, a contact probability of less than 5%? But the data on Personalize Me shows that likelihood jumping by over 250%.
Wow.
That's the commercial value of making someone feel understood.
So you mentioned the power is all in the short link. What does that actually mean for the website operator?
It means they don't need a separate, complex user database on their server to manage this. All the necessary data name, role, company, it's all securely packed and encrypted inside that link.
So it's decentralized.
Completely. And that's key to the privacy. It avoids so many of the usual headaches around consent management, cookie banners, all of that, just to deliver a relevant experience.
So the data isn't on a big server waiting to be matched to an IP address.
Yeah.
It's traveling with the user, and it's only decrypted on their machine with their permission. That's a massive architectural insight.
It is. It inherently sidesteps many of the data storage issues under GDPR. The power is in the data carrier, the link, not the destination.
That's a perfect lead-in to Section 2, the grammar and content deep dive. Once the user clicks and agrees to this experience, what level of customization are we talking about?
It's pretty broad. We're talking full-page personalization from the moment of decryption. You can deliver tailored 3D models, specific videos, images.
Even documents?
Yes, custom PDF files, personalized print jobs. The data in the link can even pre-fill contact forms to make it totally seamless.
But this is where it gets, for me, really fascinating. The part that shows how deep this goes is the linguistic precision. We found that Personalize Me is highly optimized for complex grammar, particularly German.
That's right. If you've ever tried to run a simple male merge in German, you know it's a nightmare because of grammatical cases. It's not just about the person's gender Herr versus Frau. You have to handle the grammatical gender and case of the company name.
Give me a concrete example of how that works.
Okay, so in German, a company can be grammatically feminine, like die GmbH, or masculine, like der Verein, an association. A standard system might just spit out a sentence that's grammatically wrong.
And that instantly breaks the illusion of a personal, high-touch experience. It looks sloppy.
Exactly. So this framework uses these sophisticated insert tags. You have simple ones like pslzme.greeting1 capital for Dear Mr. Smith. But then you have these difference makers like pslzme.companyGender.lowercase.
And that tag actually understands German grammar.
It automatically adjusts for the correct grammatical, case dative, accusative, genitive, whatever is needed, based on the structure of the sentence. It ensures the language is seamless and correct, and it currently supports both German and English.
So it's not just swapping a variable, it's dynamically applying language rules. That moves this from just a marketing tool to a true professional communication tool.
It guarantees professionalism, which is absolutely crucial in B2B.
That kind of precision has to extend to security, otherwise the whole thing falls apart. So let's move to Section 3. Security and GDPR compliance. This has to be bulletproof.
It does. And while pslzme is offered worldwide, its goal was specifically to meet the really strict data protection laws in Germany and the EU.
So it's built to the GDPR standard from the ground up.
Exactly, which sets a compliance bar that's far higher than in many other markets.
So what are the pillars that make this zero-tracking, high personalization model work?
We found 4. First, the explicit design mandate is zero tracking and zero profiling. The system is structurally built to prevent monitoring the user. Second, no personal data is stored on the website operator servers.
The decentralization we talked about.
Right. The power is in the link.
But that raises a question. If all this valuable personalized data is packed inside one short link, doesn't that make the link itself a target, even if it's encrypted?
That's a great question, and it brings us to the third pillar. The data is encrypted so robustly that even the providers of pslzme, the company itself, can't see the decrypted data.
Okay, so what kind of encryption are we talking about?
It's multi-level AES 128, but with asynchronous variable salt.
Let's pause on that. For our audience, AES 128 is a strong standard. But adding asynchronous variable salt, that means it's not standard. It means the encryption is constantly changing, so you can't just find one key to break them all.
Precisely. It's designed for extreme resilience against brute force attacks. And the fourth pillar is geographic. All components are hosted exclusively on proprietary servers in Germany. No data is transmitted outside the EU.
So you have decentralization, high-level encryption, and strict geographic hosting. That's a powerful combination for compliance.
It is. And just as an ethical layer, the framework is designed to avoid personalizing based on really sensitive data like bank details, phone numbers, or email addresses.
Okay, that covers the system side. But what about the user? How do they unlock this experience safely?
That's the consent gate. The decryption only happens if the recipient actively provides multi-stage consent after they follow the link. The user is always in control.
So I click the link, I land on a page, and it asks me if I want to unlock the personalized experience.
Yes, and this is where the brute force protection comes in. To prove you're the intended recipient, you have to enter a verification detail. For example, the first 3 letters of your last name. So MUS for Musterman.
That's a clever date.
It is, and here's the critical part. If you enter those 3 letters incorrectly 3 times, the system irrevocably blocks the link for that visit.
Irrevocably.
For that session, yes. It's a strong measure that ensures if a link is forwarded or a bot tries to guess its way in, access is denied almost immediately. The link is treated like a single-use secure key that only you can turn.
So let's move into our final section, Section 4, and look at who uses pslzme, because this feels like it could change the relationship between businesses and customers.
It really benefits 3 key groups. First, you have the entrepreneurs and web operators. They use it as an add-in, they get an API, and they use the link generator to create these links using data the person has already voluntarily published online.
Like their LinkedIn profile or a company directory.
Exactly. They're just repurposing public data to create a private, high-value experience. The second group is brands and retailers. They can use this to build a modern affiliate network.
How so?
Well, instead of anonymous clicks, they get qualified consumer data from the link. This lets them offer individual content, custom products, and even tailored prices to people who aren't even registered customers yet.
So as a consumer, I could click a link and immediately see a special offer just for me before I've even made an account.
And that leads right to the third and maybe most important group, consumers. The sources we looked at show that people are willing to share information preferences, sizes, interests, but only if they get a real, tangible benefit in return.
And how is that benefit formalized in this system?
Through something called the pslzme scoring system. The more information you voluntarily share about your preferences, the higher your pslzme score becomes.
That a higher score means?
What? Higher discounts. More exclusive offers from the brands and retailers in the network. It's a direct value exchange.
So if I provide my shoe size and brand interests, my data score goes up, and I am literally rewarded with better prices than someone with a lower score. That completely inverts the usual data economy.
It does. You're not being passively mined for data that gets sold. You're actively managing your data's value for a direct, immediate reward, all under a system designed for the toughest data privacy laws in the world.
So what does this all mean? We started with that frustrating generic link, and we've ended up with a system with pslzme that achieves truly customized experiences while putting control back into the hands of the user. It's all based on decentralization and adhering to those high GDPR standards.
It's a clear competitive advantage. If you're the only brand in your market that can offer this level of safe, legally compliant, deep personalization with the grammatical precision to match, you're setting a new standard for engagement. That trust element is a huge differentiator.
So here's the final thought for you to take away. In a world where privacy and personalization are always at odds, where you want relevance but fear surveillance, this scoring system introduces a new model. What happens when the value of your own data is no longer a secret number used by advertisers, but a transparent metric you control, one that's directly exchanged for real, measurable financial benefits? That direct, transparent exchange might just be the only way forward for a more respectful web.